culture. What?
Oh, hello? Is that?
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Chinese cultural performance practice in Singapore. Have you heard of the term 戏曲?
No, I don't know why is 戏曲.
So basically 戏曲 refers to Chinese opera. Do you know anything about Chinese opera?
Not much, because I feel like my Mandarin isn't very good, so because of that, I don't really want to watch it.
Honestly, no, except for like, I think when I was younger, I was like, switching channels, then I switched to channel 8, and I was like, I think this is Chinese opera.
Is it the one that they show at Ge Tai or something? The one with the like very sharp features makeup?
I was very amazed and amused by like the whole theatrics, the whole, how intricate the makeup is to the costume. And then I feel that, it's something definitely very important for us to ingrain in our Asian culture. What?
Now, 戏曲呢 is every song is music and every movement a dance. 有声必歌，无动不舞. What does that mean? Now, because in Chinese opera or 戏曲, the script is written in such a way, it comprises of around 80% of the script is written as scores, that means singing, and 20% retained as dialogues. However, these dialogues, they are also delivered in such a way that it's very rhythmic. Therefore, we say every sound is music. And for every movement a dance, because Chinese opera, one of the elements is actually dance, because it's very stylized, so all our movements are dance-like. Therefore, Chinese opera is a total theater. It actually comprises of many different types of elements. You have singing, that's a major part. You have acting, dance, you have martial arts, you even have paintings, because our makeups are actually like painted faces, So therefore, we call it a total theater. Now, I started off in 戏曲 during the 70s, mid-70s. There have been a lot of opera troupes coming into Singapore from Hong Kong especially. There were these records about very interesting Chinese opera, very famous groups, And after listening to this, I have this dream that, one fine day, I might become one of these very famous artists in this record, become one of their disciples, any one of them. And really dream can come true. Because during the 70s, there was this troupe that comes from Hong Kong, and this very famous artist, known as one of the four kings in Chinese opera, Mr. Leng Chi Pak, he came to perform. And then, because I was very young, I was only in my teens, so I just go and tag along with him, just say that, please accept me as your disciple and all that. Never thought that, you will really become the disciple of such a famous artist, and also never thought that in the end it become my career for the past 45 years. So I must say that everything is fated, just happened that it becomes like that, and then that was how I began my Chinese opera journey. Now it becomes my career.
Okay, so today we will have Christopher here, to share some of his knowledge about Chinese opera. And in this set of cue cards, all you have to do is just pick one question, then ask it to Christopher.
What are some basics of Chinese opera we should know?
Now, Chinese opera has 4 basics, okay? 唱, 做, 念, 打, meaning singing, acting, dialogues, and martial arts. To elaborate a little bit more, singing meaning that because in the Chinese opera script, it's an opera, so there are lots of singings inside, and it's the most important part of Chinese opera. Then you have acting, because it's actually also like a play, So acting is very important in Chinese opera. You have the dialogues. Most parts of the scripts are written as scores, but we still retain like 20% of the script as dialogues. But however, these dialogues are delivered in such a way that it is very rhythmic, because it's opera again. And martial arts, actually it's not only martial arts, it actually represents all the movements in Chinese opera. So maybe dance movements and also acrobatic movements. Okay, so it's called 唱作念打, the 4 basics of Chinese opera.
Okay, what is the laosheng role?
It's actually the elderly gentleman with a very long flowy beard. It doesn't really look like the natural beard because it covered the whole mouth. If you have that kind of beard, you can't eat. But the laosheng role is very important because during the past, most of the shows, they focus on this kind of middle-aged character, male character. So the beard itself has 3 different colors. They have the black, the gray, and the white. It represents different age group. The black color is around maybe 30 to 50s, and then the gray color is 50 to 70s, and the white color is 70 and above.
Then you said that this was like a past thing, right? Then
Right.
currently in Chinese opera, are there no more?
They're still there, the laosheng role is still there, but they're not as important anymore because now people like to look at young, handsome men. So the young male character become the main role in Chinese opera. They are called 文武生.
文武生?
That means they can do the silver shows, they can do the military shows.
What character do you enjoy performing the most?
Well, I have been doing Chinese opera for a long time, around 40 over years. So I have played many different types of characters, but there are some that I especially like. Like for example, the old general in this General Yang Sacrifice. Now he is a very loyal person to his country. And then in this particular show, there are a lot of intricate movements. And it is actually a very Cantonese opera style. Because nowadays the opera has a lot of influence from the Northern opera, the Beijing opera. But this particular show is really purely the Cantonese style of performing. So I like this character very much.
Do you feel some form of sentimental or emotional, attachment to the character?
Oh, this is a very good question because yes, especially the General Yang, because this script is actually has been performed by my master, the late Mr. Leng Chi Pak, and that's why it's very sentimental to me. Yeah, and in fact, he actually taught me how to do this show. Yeah, so it's a sentimental value. Yes.
Nice to hear.
Siqi has been very popular in Singapore during the past. Now actually, maybe you have to trace back a bit of the history, how it comes, during the end of the 19th century when there were upheaval in China. So a lot of people came to Southeast Asia, find a living here. And also the people working here, I mean from China, they came here and they work here. So they need to have some entertainment. Therefore, Siqi become the mainstream entertainment at that point in time, all the way until actually the 70s or even the 80s. So it has been very prosperous during that time, and also there are a lot of these clan associations, and they have this interest group, and they perform Siqi. So during all the way until the 70s, 80s, it was very popular. Okay, now if you talk about my most memorable performance, I would like to say that it should be the 六国大凤相. Okay, firstly, because this show is actually my master's masterpiece. It's actually focusing on the laosheng, especially the part when he's in the chariot, he's sitting in the chariot, and there are a lot of intricate movements. like bending down and all that. So, and this is actually taught by him, you know. He passed this art to me. So it's a very memorable and also very important performance for me. Another one is called 帝女花, the Patriotic Princess. Now this script is actually considered in Cantonese opera as a most popular script. And inside this show, there was this scene is about the end of the Ming Dynasty and the beginning of the Qing Dynasty. So when the Ming Dynasty was being overthrown, the last emperor of the Ming Dynasty has actually killed the whole family and committed suicide. And I like to perform this particular emperor because it's very emotional. And then the most important thing is that this emperor's surname is also Choo. And it is something that I have performed many times. We even went overseas and we did these shows, this particular show. These are the two shows that to me is something that is very important in my repertoire. My dream for this performing arts form is that in future we will have a professional industry. At this point in time, we do not have. I mean, yes, I'm a professional, but we don't have really an industry like Hong Kong, like China, you know, whereby the artists actually performed every night, you know, they have repertoires, because it's actually a heritage, our cultural heritage. So hopefully in future, we will be able to build a professional industry of Chinese opera in Singapore. That is my dream.